It's tremendous. It's very exciting to have the players here. It just sort of stresses the importance of it and what we're doing for them, and I think it's inspiring to have them be here. It's why we do it, so it's great. I think it's great.
Will it ultimately be a goal to have more players involved on an annual basis?
I would love to have more players here. You know, it's tough when you have a player like Sydney, who's, you know, she's with national team camp, and so we understand that's a priority, but we'd love to have as many here as we can sometime.
Talking about priorities for this coming season, I don't believe that the league has an actual sponsor yet. How's that coming along, as well as kit sponsors?
We're having great conversations right now, and it's something we're hopeful that in the next couple of weeks we'll be able to announce some of those partnerships for everybody. So we're excited.
I heard you mention drawing more general soccer fans at the game. I heard you give the shout out to the Sons of Bend. How hard is that for you, and what's your strategy in that regard?
You know, I think it's one of our challenges, but it's certainly something we're working with the teams to try to reach out more to their communities and try to get those fans and say, look, come out to a game and see this product. And I think, as I said before, anybody who's a real soccer fan can appreciate that.
Is there maybe a cultural change in the so-called traditional women's soccer fan base that might also have to take place?
I think so. I mean, I don't know if it's a total change, but I think it's sort of reaching out to bring in those different groups of fans to try to, you know, maybe as we've talked to Philly, set up different areas for, you know, the family section and the rowdier section for those Sons of Ben, you know, followers. But everybody's there for a great fan experience, and so we try to provide that for everybody, and everybody has a different need in that regard.
Behind the scenes, in terms of what you guys are doing, is it important to get ex-players involved that kind of, or people who've been around for, you know, with the league? I mean, Brandy Chastain was on that panel with you the other night.
Yeah.
I mean, are you picking their brains? Are you trying to bring them in?
You know, as somebody, as I said, and I've said this a couple of times, you know, I don't come from the traditional soccer world. I come from the world of sports and sports business. So I bring a little bit of a different perspective. But what's really been important for me in the last 3 months, and will be important for me moving forward, is to get those former players and other people who've been involved in the efforts to promote women's soccer, to pick their brains and talk about what didn't work in the past, what did work, how we can do things better, because that's really what ultimately is driving us, you know, to constantly make this better and figure out the best way to develop and promote the league.
Any comments on Boruslow's impending court date?
You know, it's certainly been an unfortunate situation for us. It's been a distraction from what we're trying to do in building the league. I can just say that, you know, we believe firmly in our decision and our decision process, and it was something that was a decision that was made with great thought and consideration. So we'll just you know, we'll see what happens next week, and we'll make our decisions afterwards appropriately.
Do you know what will be addressed specifically at that hearing on Thursday?
That hearing, the judge will decide the rest of the issues that are before her in the request for an injunction.
You still have two very well-known players in the U.S. women's national team, Abby Wambach and Hope Solo, who are outside of WPS at the moment. How can you get them involved when the financial situation is what it is and their training schedule for the Olympics is what it is?
Well, I think, you know, Abby and Hope have they've been tremendous contributors to the league, and I think they'll continue to be supporters of the league. Whether they play or not, that's a personal decision for them, but as I said, they've always been very supportive. I think they will continue to be supportive of a professional league in this country and of WPS specifically.
Are there things that the league can do to help the process along and maybe encourage them in some ways to get into the league for this year?
You know, I think there's always things that we can do in terms of reaching out to the players and keeping that relationship going, and I'm hopeful that we'll be able to continue doing that with them. But I know that their focus is on the Olympics and with the national team, and we're supportive of that, and obviously we want to do whatever we can to keep that focus going for them. So we're here to help out in any way we can.
What have any of your sponsors perhaps said about getting not just Hope and Abby, but other women's national team stars who are in the league, getting them front and center, Alex Morgan, players like that?
You know, a lot of our potential sponsors and current sponsors do talk about, you know, player appearances and having players more involved, and so that's certainly something that we'll work towards and do, and something that our players have always been really great about.